I used to think I was a pretty good Pokemon Nuzlocke, but that couldn't be further from the truth. A few years ago, I uploaded a Nuzlocke run of Black and White to test my skills, and while I barely made it out on top through some cheesy strats, it never felt rewarding. Even if I ignore the fact that I used healing items, even if I ignore the fact that I didn't reach the level caps, or me making silly mistakes, it was all around a pretty pathetic attempt. I lost way too many Pokemon early due to bad mistakes, and even got a whiteout that most people consider a loss. Pokemon is one of my favorite franchises out there, and I want to be good at it. So that's why I want to beat a Nuzlocke run of Black and White. Compared to my last video, this time I want to win an attempt worthy of my name. Hello everyone, this is Snor here, and I will be attempting a Pokemon Black and White Hardcore Nuzlocke, except this time it's a one attempt thing. No reruns, no extra attempts, this is for all the marbles. Compared to my last video, I've gotten a lot better at Nuzlockes, so the rules have changed. I can only catch the first Pokemon of each route, and if it faints, I'm not allowed to use it anymore for the rest of the run. Dupe clause is now on, so if I encounter a Pokemon that I've already caught before, I can reroll to potentially get something different. Doesn't count for missed encounters though. A whiteout equals a loss this time around, and I cannot overlevel past the gym leader's highest level Pokemon. With that being said, I will be using rare candies to reach the level caps, alright? Because I have a life, and I'm way too busy to be running against wild Pokemon, alright? Also, just for a fun little rule, I have to nickname every single Pokemon so we can grow more attached to them. What? I've truly, honestly never beaten a hardcore Nuzlocke of this game authentically. Sure, I've been there run through healing, or through retrying the Elite Four, or through changing Pokemon natures and abilities to my benefit, but never have I been a run honestly, and that's about to change. Hope you enjoy my one attempt of this hardcore Nuzlocke run. Picking your starter Pokemon has to be one of the toughest decisions a Nuzlocke has to make. While most people pick either the fire type or the water type due to their better typing, I chose Snivy this time. Don't ask me why, I do like Oshawott more, but I actually do have my reasons for picking Snivy, and you'll see why later. The best strategy I've found for these first fights is using Leer first and then going with Tackle. That way it increases my damage just enough so I can 3-tap them. I don't know why, there are probably better ways to do it, but that's just how I normally go with it. And I succeeded. I beat both of them without too much difficulty. And after witnessing some family drama, I went over to Professor Junifer's where I could finally nickname my Snivy. I decided to name her Ivy. Oh, you cute little Ivy, you're so precious. Now it's time for my first encounter. A Vital Spirit Lillipup would be amazing, that's the best thing I could get right here. But ultimately this is a Nuzlocke and that's not up to me, so let's see what we get here. And speak of the devil, it is a Lillipup. I go ahead and catch it, and it is a Vital Spirits Lillipup, which is amazing. And then we get introduced to our third rival, N, which is one of the easiest fights in the game, so I didn't really struggle much. You just find me spam here, that's it. I could tell y'all what my Route 2 encounter was, but the truth is I just kept finding Lillipups, and I actually made it all the way through without encountering something new. So I just decided to skip this encounter for now, and you'll see why in a bit. Bianca randomly shows up begging for a battle, so I lead with Lillipup to take care of her Lillipup, and then once the Oshawott is out, I switch to my Snivy, and Vine Whip spam takes KO. I forgot to mention earlier that gift Pokemon do not count as route encounters, so this slidey here gives me one of the elemental Punkies, depending on which starter you picked, and since I picked Snivy, I get Pampor, which is probably the best elemental monkey due to the fact that it gets access to Scald at level 22. That's insane. So it gives me a powerful attacking move with a water type, and it ensures that my two rivals, Bianca and Churn, do not get access to this Pokemon. This is one of the reasons why I picked Snivy. Next up is a Heroic Battle with Churn. Knowing he's gonna lead with Tepig, I lead with Pampor to get the tap advantage, and Water Gun also just takes care of Purloin, so that this was an easy fight. And now it's time to fight the Gym Leader brothers, and because I picked Snivy, I have to fight Chili. But I do have a plan in beating him, and that's to not use Snivy at all. This battle is a run ender for many reasons, and one of the reasons is that people don't usually know that you can't use your starter to actually beat this fight effectively. The best strat is to use Lillipup, and that's because my Lillipup is higher level than his, so mine just flat out overpowers him, and then he sends out his pants here. Once you've reached this point, battle is pretty much over for them, because now I can set out my Pampor, which resists Panzer's Incinerate. So after a couple of water guns, I take the Panzer down and I win my first gym badge easy peasy lemon squeezy. So remember how I didn't get my Route 2 encounter? That is a horrible move to do in a Nuzlocke. You should just catch whatever you can and use as many Pokemon as you can, especially early game when you don't have as many answers. However, I decided to set this one out because after you beat the first gym leader, you can get Shaking Grass, and then you can get access to the Pokemon Audino. And the reason I waited is because now I can catch this as my Route 2 encounter, which isn't that great in and of itself, but now that I've caught Audino, thanks to the Dupes clause, I could potentially get something in the Shaking Grass that I couldn't do before, like I don't know, Sock maybe. That would be pretty good for the second gym, huh? After witnessing some animal abuse, Getsis randomly shows up teleporting around the place. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh wait, never mind, it's just Musharna doing a dream. Hell yeah. Now it's time for my dream yard encounter. Getting a Perlin would be nice, but Amuna wouldn't be half bad. Not even gonna lie, I forgot he spawned here. Dang it! While I was grinding against some wild trainers, my little pup actually evolved into Herdier, which is great because now he has the ability Intimidate, which is hands down probably the best ability for a hardcore Nuzlocke. And then Cheren wants another rival fight. Wait, seriously, another one? We just fought you like 3 battles ago, what the hell are you doing, Cheren? Cheren tried using Ember on my Pampor, except Cheren never learned the type chart, so I just tanked all those hits, and after some water gun spam, I beat his Tepig. And then we come to find out that theft is not absent from the Pokemon world, so we chase Team Plasma down into the cave and retrieve back the little girl's stolen Pokemon. And now it's time for my Wellspring encounter. Normally you can get either Rock'n'Rolla or Woobat in this cave, which are both excellent picks, but I decided that by spamming repels and running back and forth, I can get a Dust Cloud and I can guarantee me a Drillbur. And that's pretty good. I actually like to think that Drillbur is better than the other two, especially Excadrill. Excadrill is like one of the best Pokemon in these games. So that's why I decided to go for this instead of the other two. Not to mention, this Drillbur gives me a great answer to Elisa's electric types. And now it's time for my Route 3 encounter. I could have gotten it earlier, but I usually wait to get this encounter until I could get the double grass. That way I could decide what I get. And thankfully I get a Pidove and a Blitzel, so I could decide between both. I found out through Snivy Slayer that this Pidove has Big Pegs instead of Super Luck, and that's pretty bad, so I decided to go for the Blitzel instead. I was using Mud Slap with Drillbur to chip down at Blitzel's health, and the first Mud Slap didn't do all that much, so I just decided to go for another one. Just to bring it down a little more, but it crit and it actually knocked him out. In a serious note, I don't know how that second Mud Slap knocked him out, because that first one, even if it did double damage, shouldn't have done over, like it should have left him in the red or you know, like 1/4 of his health left. So I'm not sure what happened there, but the first one must have been a very low roll. Editing Snore here, I'm realizing now that the reason this Mud Slap killed with a crit is because he was using Charge a bunch of times, which raised his special defense. Listen, Charge is such a terrible move that I unconsciously forgot what it does. So yeah, that's why the crit just went through it like that. I should have known this and just stopped attacking with Mud Slap. But like a dumbass, I kept Mud Slapping and then it died. Oopsie, that was on me. After grinding for a little bit in the outskirts of Pinwheel Forest, my Snivy evolved into Servine, which is great because I need as many powerful Pokemon as I can possibly get. So I've made a tiny oopsie here. In the outskirts of Pinwheel Forest, in Pokemon Black, you can actually get Sock through the normal grass, but you can also get it through the Shaking Grass, and it guarantees either that or Audino, which is why I got Audino, so it could guarantee me getting Sock. Unfortunately, I didn't know that in Pokemon Black, the Shaking Grass actually gives you Throw. I mean, it's not even that it gives you Throw normally. In the normal grass, it gives you Sock. It's just that in Pokemon White, you encounter Throw through the normal grass and Sock through the Shaking Grass. So I didn't know this until I got here, so I couldn't guarantee Sock as I wanted, so I just had to wing in it and go with whatever. Luckily though, I got a Timber, which is fantastic. This is one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. It's like A or S tier, you know. This is the perfect Pokemon, and it has the ability Guts. So if it gets burned or poisoned, I could use like Facade and just, you know, negate the damage. It's really good. I'm happy about this. Conkeldurr is in all honesty better than Sock. So if I could just get this thing to a Conkeldurr, then it's going to be a better payoff than if I've caught in Sock. So this is the better outcome, I think. Wow, it even has a good nature. Most of my other Pokemon in this run actually have bad nature, so I replaced Timber with Patrat because I don't need 3 normal types and Patrat is the weakest link right now. So this is going to be my team going into the second gym. Won't even lie, forgot you existed. You f***ing murdering b****. And now it's time to fight the normal type gym leader, Lenora. She leads out her Herdier as always, and I go with Servine to get the lead seat off. Her takedown doesn't even take me down to half, so I was safe from a crit there no matter what. Which was my plan, because now I can go into my own Herdier and get the Intimidate on her and not be down one attack. I wanted to get some workup boost so I could sweep her team, but I realized that another takedown would actually kill me, especially if it was a crit, so I was forced to switch here. Thankfully my Audino has Regenerator, so I felt kinda safe going into her, and if I lost her it wasn't a big deal. She did take those takedowns pretty well, to be fair. After using a couple of growls with Audino, I went back to Herder to get another attack drop, then I decided that going into Timber to use Wake Up Slap was probably the best move here. Well, never mind. I go into Drillbur to take another takedown, and then Elite Seed takes him down. And now the Watcha comes out. This thing has Retaliate, which is a 140 powered move, non-stab. This thing, if it crits, is going to kill any one of my Pokemon, so I need to think this through. Thankfully though, my Audino took it pretty well, and even a crit probably wouldn't have killed me from that range. Now I'm a bit safer. The battle isn't over yet though, because this thing is still a menace. After a little bit of growl spam, I go into my Watchog, hoping that I could just finish the battle with him. And I used the cheesiest of strats. So I used a bunch of sand attacks, I put him to sleep, I put him in confusion, and I just kept doing this until I could will him down with tackle. And just like that, I beat the second gym leader. After witnessing some more theft, I was tasked with the job of finding Team Plasma. But of course, we get another encounter. Listen, this encounter is quite iffy because Pinwheel Forest, I've already technically gotten Timber from there. But this is my run, so we play with my rules, and I usually count these two routes as separate. Why, you may ask? Well, the thing is, the encounters on both these areas are different, and you have to enter and load into a different area. That is the very definition of a different place. Both are called Pinwheel Forest, but I decide that it's a different encounter, so these are my rules. After doing a little bit of grinding, my Bidoof evolves into the Tranquil, and I finally track down the final Team Plasma member and take the skull back and give it to Lenora. I finally made it to Castelia City, but I immediately ran out of there to Route 4, excited for my next encounter. You see, in this route, you can either get a Sandal, Darumaka, or Scraggy, and I'm gonna be honest, any one of these encounters would be great. And hallelujah, it's Darumaka, this is what I wanted. So you see, by picking Snivy, I have a room for a fire type that's not Tepic or Pansear. No, but Darmanitan is good. Its Fire Punch does a ton of damage if I get to it. It has similar stats to Excadrill. It's just an overall really powerful Pokemon. I'm so happy with this. And after helping Bianca get her Muna back, I headed to the third gym to fight Burke.
And Butch. The name is Butch.
Burke uses Bug type Pokemon, which aren't normally that tough, so I just leave with Darumaka to Fire Punch the Whirlipede, and it goes out in one hit. Once the Dwebble is out, I switch to my Pampor to Scalded, which also just one-shots, and then when the Leavanny comes out, I switch over to Tranquil. I couldn't one-shot the Leavanny, so instead, I growled it a bunch of times, and then I roosted up, and since he had like -2 attack, he couldn't really do anything to me. Although he did start to struggle bug there, but yeah, he stood no chance. I could have just beat him here. GG, easy. After the gym battle, Bianca won another battle. She led with her Herdier and I led with mine, so both of our attacks were lowered. I was just spamming Tackle, and she ended up using 2 super potions to heal up, which was a pain, but I eventually knocked her out with Tackle. Bianca then sends out her Duat, so I switched into my Servine to get the type advantage, and a 1 whip later, I've knocked him out. Then she sends her Muna, which was so annoying to kill because she kept spamming Moonlight, which kept healing her, so after like 20 turns, I finally take the Muna down. And then she sent out her Pansear, which obviously forced me to switch into my Pampor, which one-shots it with Scald. Sorry Bianca, better luck next time. And now Charon also wants a battle. Great. He leads with his Bidoof and I leave my Herdier to get the attack drop, and after a couple of tackles I take down the Bidoof. Charon then decides to go for Pansage, so I had to switch into Darumaka to get the type advantage. I tried using Fire Punch but it missed, so that was like, ugh. Are you serious, Darumaka? I know you have Hustle, but come on. I go for another Fire Punch, which finally knocks it out, and then the light part comes out. I'm low on health. No problem though, I can just switch out to my Herdier. Are you serious? This is exactly the same way my Darumaka died in my last run. Are you kidding me? So I kind of forgot that Pursuit kind of just sucks for Nuzlocke, and I lost my Darumaka. I was so mad right here. Oh my goodness, get out of here, you stupid light part. I hate you so much. I want to see you burn, die. Yeah, that's right, get out of here, you stupid idiot. So there's only his Pig Knight left, so my Pampero kind of just dismantled him with Scald. But seriously, that pissed me off so much losing Darumaka like that. Again. So officially, Darumaka is my first death. That sucks. So now I have to go pick out a new member. So while Regenerator Audino is really good, I went for Tranquil here because the flying typing is pretty good and there's no point having 2 normal types on my team. Well, I guess Tranquil's also a normal type, but... While me and Bianca were at a musical competition, her dad showed up out of nowhere. He tried to convince her that she should come back home because she's pretty stupid and she doesn't know how to train Pokemon, which I agree. But then Elisa showed up telling him that, hey, she'll get stronger. And I'm like, no, she won't, but good luck, Bianca, you can do it. Yeah, I believe. And that kind of just went away. Bye. After that whole fiasco, I went over to the Desert Resort to catch me a Santa. How did I get this thing? Isn't it like 10%? Jeez. Not gonna lie, I really wanted Sandile, and I'm a little upset that I didn't get the Sandile. But that's okay, because I can still get Sandile right here. Let's go. I guess I'm losing Sandile this run. Jeez. Get your ass in this ball, Yamask. I hate you. You and Dwebble. I also have a choice between the two fossils, and I just had to go with the cover fossil, because Water Rock is actually pretty good, and Caracosta actually gets Shell Smash, which is really good. Archeops is really strong, but it has Defeatist, which halves its attack once it's below half HP. It's terrible, so I just went with Caracosta. It's much better. Now it's time for my Rod 5 encounter. I wonder what I'll get. Maybe I'm in Chino, maybe I go through. You have the nerve to show up here. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna do it. Don't you dare me. Don't you dare me. No, just kidding. I'm actually trying to beat this run, so I'm gonna catch anything I can. But I do hate you though. You've easily become one of my least favorite Pokemon of this generation. I swear to God, pursued my ass. My Route 16 encounter is Gothita, which isn't the worst thing, I guess. I head over to Lost Storm Forest, where my encounter is Venipede. Now, here's an interesting piece of information, right? In this place, or in the Pinwheel Forest, there's a small chance to get Cottonee, right? And you can actually trade it in-game to get a Petalil. And this is Petalil is basically the only good grass type aside from Superior. And since I didn't get it this run, it's really good that I picked Snivy, because now I don't have a grass type alternative. While on the other hand, there are a bunch of fire and water types that I can guarantee, such as Chandelure and Jellicent. That is the main reason why I decided to go for Snivy, because there's not a good grass type alternative. Before I stroke my own ego too much, after a bit of grinding, my temper actually evolved into Girder, which is great. Now it's getting to the point where it's actually really good. Tra-la-la-la-la. Oh, well, look who it is. Not to hurt your feelings, bro, but I'm not into dudes, so yeah, could we just stop this date right now, please? I don't want to be here. Why'd you bring me here? I don't want to be here. Blah. With my cringe humor out of the way, now it's time to go battle N, and his team is really scary this time around because he has a Sigilif in the back. That thing has made me lose my run so many times that I have to go out of my way to prepare for this fight. With his Sandile down, he sends out his Darumaka, which I can just one-shot with another Skull because it's so OP. Now he sent out his Scracky, which could be a little trouble because he used Swagger, but thankfully my second Skull landed and I took care of the Scracky. But now it's time to fight death itself. Sigilif. I wish I didn't have to fight this thing, it's crazy strong. And if you don't believe me, look at its stats. 103 at special attack and 97 speed. How am I supposed to beat this fairly with pre-evolved Pokemon? This thing's insane. I made a questionable play by going into Dwebble here. I'm not sure why. I mean, my Dwebble does have Sturdy, so maybe I thought he would just tank a hit. But I ended up just using Feint Attack and it actually crit and a one-shot the Sigilif. I made such a big deal for something I took down in one hit. I made it sound like I'm lying about this guy. This guy really has ended my run several times. Hey listen bro, I appreciate the close-up, but I've already told you, I'm not into you bro. While I was reaching the level cap, my Venipede actually evolved into the Whirlipede, which is great. But I didn't even use it for Elisa, so why did I even bother telling y'all? Now it's time to fight the 4th gym leader, Elisa. And honestly, Elisa's a very tough gym leader to beat because her electric types are really powerful and they don't have a ton of weaknesses. So I decided to leave with Yamas right here to get the Will-O-Wisp up on her Emolga. However, her Emolga used Pursuit on me, which actually crit, which wasn't ideal, so I went for another Hex to bring her HP down. And knowing that she would heal this turn, I used this opportunity to go into my Light part to get the Fake Out, lowering down back to yellow HP. And while her Emolga tried to switch out with Volt Switch, she didn't see my Pursuit coming, which knocked her out before she could even switch out. Her second Emolga also went for Volt Switch, and my Pursuit did massive damage before she could switch out. But now I had to deal with a Substrika, which is a massive threat. I decided to switch into Drill Burst so I could take Substrika's Volt Switch rent-free, but unfortunately he went for Quick Attack, which wasn't ideal for me. And also, I could have sworn that Dig would have one-shot the Substrika, but it actually managed to take it, which was not great at all. I switched into Herdier here to get the attack drop on Substrika, but Elisa went for the heal here instead, which was not great for me, so I just went for another return here, and Elisa took me down to half health, which wasn't great for me because if she crit me here, Herdier would have actually went down, so I don't know why I stayed in here, but another return took down the Substrika, so it was fine I guess. Elisa then sends out her last Emolga, and I send in my Watcho to take her Volt Switch, and a tackle later, I win the match. Phew, that was a close one. This match has actually made me lose my run so many times, so I'm glad I went through it deathless. Next up is yet another battle with Mr. Bundle of Joy himself, and this time, I won't let him get a kill on any one of my Pokemon. Knowing that Sharon would lead Liepard, I led with my Herdier to get the attack drop, but to my surprise, Liepard gets humiliated by a single return, so yeah, let's go Verb. Another return would have probably killed Pansage here, but I switched into Dwebble instead for some reason, who takes neutral damage from Seed Bomb, but not a big deal because Bug Bite finished the job as I originally planned. Pignet wasn't a problem because he just kept spamming Flame Charge, which Pampor took like a champ, and a few skulls later, it knocks it out. Tranquil is the final Pokemon, which my Hardy just took down with one return as well. After that whole fiasco, thanks to Elisa, the Driftfield drawbridge was finally lowered, and we got our guaranteed encounter, which is Stuglet. It's time for yet another encounter. It's Vanillite. I mean, okay, I won't complain because our only other encounter here was Minchino, so that's fine. And then we found the Team Plasma members and brought them to justice. Well, only for Clay to was out and let them all escape. What the heck, dude? Well, I mean, I guess Getz is his most powerful trainer in Unova, so I guess I can't blame him too hard. No, I can't actually. Screw you, Clay. Don't break third loving mud still. And now it's time to fight the 5th gym leader, Clay. I led with Douglas to one-shot the Crocodile with Scald, however to my surprise, it didn't even take it down, and thanks to Torment, I can't use Scald again this turn. So I decided to lower his attack with Feather Dance instead. I'd go for another Scald here, but this dumb Croc used Swagger on me, which actually made me hit myself in confusion, twice, so I was forced to switch out here or I was set to another Crunch. I went for Pampor here, which not only took the Crunch, but also outsped the Crocodile and one-shot with Scald. Good going, Poor. You did what Ducklet failed to do. Excadrill got sent out here, which was terrifying because I had no idea what he'd go for, so I thought that going for Scald, hoping for a burn, was the right play. Fortunately, Scald did manage to get a burn and bring him down to half, which is great because thanks to the burn I can take the Rock Slide and end Excadrill's poor life. His final Pokemon is Papaltoad, which is an easy meal for my Servine, and just like that, I beat the slave owner. Alright, time for another encounter. Oh no, not you again. We both sent out our dogs for a playdate, but it got a little too spicy for my taste, so for my sake, let's just move on. My Servine completely walled Bianca Stewart, and Pampor easily took out the Pansear. Her Musharna was a little tough to take out thanks to her bulk and healing, but eventually I took her down with Herdier, who if he got crit, definitely would have died by the way. And after Herdier lost his V-card, he got that dog in him and evolved. Wow, such a good boy, yes you are. This might be hard to believe, but I actually decided to skip this encounter, and the reason being I wanted to get a Carablast, and if I waited and got Deerling on Route 7, then I could come back to Route 6 and have a higher chance of getting Carablast. So for now, we're gonna skip on the Route 6 encounter. In Touchstone Cave, I was trying to get a Tynamo through Repel Manipulation. If you didn't know, if you have a Pokemon at a certain level at the front of the party, if you then repel, then only Pokemon from that level or above can appear. So while I was doing this trying to get Tynamo, which actually has gotten me Tynamo and Nuzlocke in the past, but this time unfortunately I got Clank, which is, it's alright, I mean it's a steel type, you know, decent. Oh no, not you again. I told you bro, I'm not into you bro. Why are you so obsessed with me? Ant sends out his Bolter and gets walled by my Girder, at which point he sends out his Joltik, who gets one-shot by my Rock Slide. Ferroseed also gets stunning quickly, and Clink also gets one-shot by Wake Up Slab. Easiest fight of my life, to be fair.
You f***ing murdering b****.
After Skylake knows her duties as gym leader, I am obligated to go talk some sense into her. But first, I can get my Route 7 encounter, and I got a Zipstrika. I wanted a Deerling so that way I could pretty much guarantee Carablast. But I can't do that now, of course! Who saw this one coming? If only that stupid Mudslap at the beginning didn't kill that stupid Blitz. Might as well get my Route 6 encounter, whatever it may be. What the heck? I got Carablast? Yo, huge! What? It has Shed Skin? Wow, that means when it evolves, it'll have Chill Armor instead of Swarm, which is an ability that makes it so that I can't be crit. But this is amazing, this is the best time lap. Wow. It even has a good nature. You know what? It can't get any better than this. In Celestial Tower, I get my guaranteed encounter being Litwick, and it even has the ability Flashfire, which is an ability I have grown to love because you'll realize that having immunities is essential for Nuzlocke switch-ins. Like, it's so good. Also, not to stroke my own ego here, but by not picking Tepig, now I have a very powerful fire type here that I can use without having two. And if I picked Ashwood, I would have Pansear, so it wouldn't have mattered. Let's go. Well, speaking about Pansear, actually, unfortunately, my Pampor got done in by a crit air cutter, which I thought he could take. Hey, listen, I've got no excuses here. I should have switched into Excadrill the second this thing came out. For those of you wondering why I didn't evolve Pampor sooner, I was waiting for it to learn Crunch, because it's a Stone evolution, it can't learn any new moves once it evolves. But to be honest, I should have just evolved him. Having a pre-evolution at this point in the game is so terrible. With a heavy heart, I replaced it with Zipstrika. Come here, Zipstrika. Welcome to the team. After ringing the bell to scare Skyla off, now it's time to go fight her at the gym. I lead with Crustle to get the Stealth Rocks off, and her Swooped goes for Amnesia. Not long after though, my Roslax one-shots her Swooped. Next up is Swanna, which is really scary for Webble, but me having Sturdy, I could pretty much take any water move she throws at me. Luckily though, she goes for Aqua Ray. Bro, what are you doing? One Rock Slide one-shots her Swanna. Bro, what are you doing? Her Pheasant tries to clutch, but it's not enough for my Webble, and I finish her off with Rock Slide. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This was probably the new easiest fight of my life. After my Servine evolved into a Superior, it's time to fight Chern yet again. I lead with Strikeout to have the type advantage over Unpheasant, and 2 sparks later, it's gone. Paganite gets sent out next, and my Spark actually paralyzes it, which is amazing. Her takedown does a bit too much damage though, so I use Full Switch to get my Stallion out to get the attack drop. Why switch a normal type into a fighting type, you may ask? Well, because he has no fighting moves. Lol. One return later takes care of the Peppa Pig. Return almost one-shots the Simisage, but I was forced to switch as it used Sleer. I went for Superior who easily took the Seed Bomb and finished the job with Leaf Blade. Chern saved his Demon for last, except it doesn't have Pursuit anymore, so I humiliated with a single return. After receiving the Surf HM from Alder, it gives us several encounters. First we could get a Boulder in Twist Mountain, and then in Driftwell City we can Surf to guarantee a Frillish, another guaranteed powerful water type by the way, no need for Ashwat, wink wink. In Strident City, we can Surf here and get the only possible encounter being Basculin. In Route 18, we get a Scraggy, which is great. I would have caught someone in the P2 laboratory, but they were all dupes, so I couldn't do that. In Mistralden Cave, we get an Axew, which is hands down probably the best Pokemon for a Black and White Nuzlocke. I mean, just look at Haxorus' attack stat. It has the 34th highest attack stat in the entire game, or 10th if you count only the existing Pokemon in this game. And like for the most part, the only Pokemon who have a higher attack are like legendaries, megas, or like special forms. Like this thing is ridiculously busted. And in the Guidance Chamber, we get a Woobat with Cluds. Nice. In Cedar City and the routes around it, I get a Shelmet, a Palpitoad, and a Stunfisk. And since this patch of grass counts as Dragon Spiral Tower for some reason, I get a Mienfoo. Phew, need a sip of water now. Well, it's time to fight the 7th gym leader, Bryson. What? Combinations? I lead with Scrafty to one-shot the Vanillish with Brick Break. The Bear Dick could send out Negs, and despite me getting swaggered, I still landed the Brick Break. The next turn I snap out of the confusion and one-shot Chronicler with another Brick Break. Wow, that was surprisingly easy. This is a hardcore Nuzlocke? Seriously? Then Team Plasma showed up to revive the legendary Pokemon Zekrom. But not to worry, with my starter on my side, there's nothing I can't do. Okay, how the hell did this dumb Scraggy knock me out with that jump kick? My starter died, man. Is this all the run has amounted to? Seriously? I've been wanting to prove Superior's worth this whole time, and it barely saw the light of day. With a heavy heart, let's put our IV to rest. After receiving the Lightstone, it's time to head back to my journey. I then go to Route 9 to get a Poniard. Okay, not too bad. Then from a Route 10 encounter, I decided that Fungus was the right way to go, since I was lacking a Grass type. Drayden always leads with Fracture, so I went with Verb to get the attack drop. I then went for Return, which didn't even take it out, and he started going for Dragon Dance. This is really scary, as he could sweep my run from here. Thankfully though, he went for the heal, so another Return took it down. Phew. Druddigon comes in next, and this thing is an absolute menace, and if I'm not careful, could definitely take out one of my mons. So I went into Cofagrigus hoping to get the Will-O-Wisp off, but I immediately get crit and brought down to half. This is not good. I switch back into Verb to get the attack drop and to use Thunder Wave. I then switch into Scavalier because Druddigon has no super effective moves on it, and thanks to its Shelmer ability, it cannot be crit. The thing is though, after I used Iron Head, I got the Mummy ability that was passed down from Cofagrigus, so this was not good. Now I could get crit.
Oh, shit!
Luckily though, after it healed, I got off 2 Iron Heads and knocked it out. Phew. Okay, listen y'all, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to commentate this next part, because look what happens here. My speed lowered nature as Cavalier outsped the Haxorus and flinched it with Iron Head. And then the next turn, I used Iron Head again and it outsped it again. Listen y'all, I'm not sure how this slow ass Garden Snail outsped this fast demon twice. It is what it is. It did have the Quick Claw, but it didn't activate either of those turns. So I'm not sure what happened here. But hey, I'll take it I guess. GG, will play it easy. Editing store here again. Ugh. So the reason this Cavalier outsped the Haxorus twice isn't because I was outspeeding him, it was because he was using the move Dragon Tail probably, and that move has negative priority, and that's why I outsped him twice. I don't know how I didn't realize this at the moment, but this is the second time something has happened and I just didn't know why it happened until I've come back to edit the video. Oops. I then head off the Victory Road, but get so rudely interrupted by a Cheren, asking for one last battle. I wish I could say this fight was easy, but he actually pushed me into a corner with flamethrower spam from Embor. But I did actually manage to beat him thanks to my Dragon Claw critting here. But if it hadn't, I would have been in massive trouble because I had nothing to switch into. But thankfully, I win the fight with 0 casualties. And then I head off to Victory Road for my last encounter being Durant. Not a terrible Pokemon I guess, but definitely won't be used for the endgame here, that's for sure. Now it's time to face off against the Elite Four, and I'll be honest here, as I said in the intro, I've never beaten this authentically. As a hardcore Nuzlocke, it's ridiculously difficult, probably the hardest Elite Four out of every generation. So I decided to face off against Chantal first, as I had a plan. I lead with Haxorus to pull off the sword stance, and she goes for Shadow Ball. That's weird, I was hoping for a Will-O-Wisp. So next turn I go for a Dragon Dance, and hallelujah, it goes for Will-O-Wisp. But Haxorus though is holding a Raspberry and it cures it. Phew, easy fight. Now all I have to do from here is sweep. Are you kidding me? For those of you who didn't know, burn cuts physical attack damage in half, so my +3 right now means essentially nothing. Jellicent gets out down next, and that thing can totally take a Shadow Club from this point, so I'm forced to switch into Kofakrikas. I'm not sure why I switched into it here. I still haven't learned that Kofakrikas is not a special tank, so I need to go back into Verb to get the immunity with Shadow Ball. And then Surf is not able to take me out, so 2 crunches later, I win the fight. 1 down, 3 to go. Now I decide to fight Caitlyn and her Psychic type Pokemon. I lead with Chandelure to one-shot Rio Nicholas with Shadow Ball. After that easy one-shot, she sends out Musharna, who thanks to her bulk didn't get one-shot. And after she wasted both of her full restores and me getting a special defense drop, the next Shadow Ball takes it down. Sigilyph is an absolute menace though, so I decide to switch into Verb to take a Shadow Ball. I go for Crunch as she goes for Psychic. I probably would have been fine here, but fearing the crit, I decided to switch into Scavalier to take the Psychic. I go for X-Scissor, and she goes for Air Slash, and I flinch! Alright, not a problem, I can't be crit here, so I'll just click this again. What?! Thanks to 2 very unlucky flinches, I am repelled to switch into Kofagrigus here, who takes the Air Slash. Expecting a Shadow Ball next, I go into Verb to not get hit, and then I take it out with Crunch. Wow, back in this scenario I should have just attacked, huh? Gothitelle gets sent out next, and expecting a Psychic, I go into Scrafty for the immunity. However, she goes for Thunderbolt here, which isn't a problem as it didn't do all that much, and another Crunch takes it out. Grimsley is my third matchup. I lead with Verb to get the attack drop and immediately switch into Scavalier to spam Iron Defense. Since I can't be crit, Iron Defense is really effective here. However, he spammed a bunch of sand attacks, making it impossible to land any hits, so like after 10 turns I take it out. Krookodile gets sent out next, and because of the sand attacks, I am forced to switch as I can't get any attacks in. I go for Verb for the attack drop, and then I go for the return, which just does massive damage. But I will die to another Earthquake however, so I'm forced to switch to Kofagrigus. After Grisly healed, it went for Foul Play, which did surprisingly much considering Kofagrigus' attack stat is ass. So I went for Will-O-Wisp, which actually lands, and then I go into Scrafty next, who takes care of it with Brick Break. Liepard gets sent out next, and expecting to flinch with Fake Out, I switch into Stoutland for the attack drop, and then switch back into Scrafty, who kills it with Brick Break. Bisharp's Airlace could have killed if it crit, but it didn't, and I got the final KO without losing anything so far. Phew. Marshall is the last Elite Four in my way of beating this run. He leads with Throw as I go for Stoutland. Expecting a fighting move, I switch into Chandelure for the immunity, but he goes for Stone Edge? Bro. I switch back to Verb for another attack drop, and he goes for Bulldoze this time. Ayo, what is wrong with this battle I do? I then go into Kofagrigus as he goes for Payback, and by the way, I didn't realize Mommy activated here, so I should have probably gone for Will-O-Wisp as he wouldn't have had guts anymore, but I didn't think of that at the moment. So I switch into Scrafty to take the Payback, and 1 high jump kick later it finishes the job. Conkeldurr gets sent out next, and I switch into Kofagrigus as he crits on me, but it doesn't kill, and I go for Will-O-Wisp for the burn. I then switch into Verb for the attack drop, and then switch into Scavalier to take any of its moves. I then go to +4 with Iron Defense, as the burn takes out the Conkeldurr. The Sock got sent out next, and after using 1 more Iron Defense, I start attacking with X-Scissor like a dumbass because Iron Head is a much better move to use here, as it doesn't resist it. After it healed, it got me really low, but my Quick Claw came in clutch, and 1 more X-Scissor did the job. The main shell got sent out next, and expecting a jump kick, I switched into Chandelure, and hallelujah, it did. Like a dumbass, it recoiled itself to half health. I then switched into Scrafty to take the Rock Slide, and then I decided to sack Scrafty here, as I didn't want it to risk killing Chandelure. I then switched into Haxorus, and a Dragon Claw later, I beat Marshall. Wow, unbelievable man, I actually did it. I beat the Elite Four without any issues. I've never done this before. Wow. And now it's time to fight the champion. Bro, I swear to God, you lost to this chump? Oh my goodness. Well, I guess I have to fight N now because he's the new champion. But before that, the Light Orb starts reacting and Reshiram appears. I mass ball that crap because I don't want to lose anything. And now it's time to fight N. N leads out with Zekrom as its terrible ability fills the arena with powerful electricity, making my Kofagrigus uneasy. But he stays strong as he tanks a crit Fusion Bolt. Now going down without a fight, he burns the Legendary Dragon before its very eyes. Burp comes in as its roar overwhelms Zekrom's might, as its Fusion Bolt ceases to do damage. Now it's time for me to use my secret weapon, being Hackshurus. Hackshurus takes a huge Giga impact and starts setting up with sword stance, and as Sekrom needs a turn to recharge, it gets even speedier with Dragon Dance. Ready to sweep, use this Brick Break to nullify the Light Screen's effects. Vanillux gets sent out next, as Brick Break turns Vanillux into 2 Vanillish. Archeops has a powerful fangs, but Hackshurus' claws are even stronger, and it bodies Archeops. Brick Break should be called Metal Break to be honest, because it owned Kling Clang. Sorong may have the power of illusions, but this is my reality, and I'm gonna destroy it. This prehistoric turtle returns to its grave from where it came. And just like that, I defeated Anne. Getsus? Where did you come from, bro? Listen, I defeated your king, so I'm in charge now. Bow down to me. Bow down, I am your king. Bow down to me. Well, there's a reason this is one of the hardest games to Nuzlocke, and this back-to-back fight is definitely one of them. We both lead with Gophagricus, as we both go for Toxic, but what Getsus doesn't know is that I was holding a Pechaberry this whole time. I go for Protect to delay another turn, and then get poisoned, which isn't a big deal though, because Shadow Ball lowered it enough for the poison to kill. Electros comes in next and uses Acrobatics as I go for Will-O-Wisp. I then switch into Verb to get an attack drop. Since its physical damage does basically nothing now, I go into Hackshurus to use both my dance moves. I started going for Flamethrower now though, which could burn me, so I decided to just attack to get it over with. Hydreigon goes down to 1 Dragon Claw, as Buffalon goes down to 1 Brick Break as well. Sazvidot goes down to 1 Dragon Claw, as Bishop falls to 1 Brick Break. Wow, I did it. I actually beat this run, but at what cost? Listen y'all, I'm very happy I made it, but like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm nowhere near the skill level I want to be. I made silly mistakes this run, I could have lost several things if they crit, and stuff happened at the moment which I had no idea why it happened. Overall, I could have done better. I could have made it with my starter, which is what I wanted to do. So next run, it's time for something better. Hope you enjoyed this video, there are more Nuzlocks to come.